What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy DMD, and I'm coming at you guys today with my Monarch deck profile for July of 2017. A lot of people think the deck is dead because of the hits to Pantheism and Stormforth and Aether, but quite frankly, I took this deck to locals like last week and I made people quit. Like, I actually made people get up off the table and quit. This deck is like more cold than Dark Worlds. Like, it just triggers so many people. The ability that it has to lock people out with Domain and Vanity's Fiend is just to die for. So I picked this deck up a couple months ago and I worked really hard to make it consistent, because consistency is really the only issue with this deck. But I figured out a way to make it really consistent using Allure of Darkness. So I guess I'd go ahead and give it a deck profile for you guys and see what y'all think of it. So anyway, here we go. So first, we've got Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Aether is really broken. Basically, when she's tribute summoned, you can send 2 Monarch spell or traps from your deck to the graveyard or your hand to the graveyard, and special summon out a monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense. Basically, she helps you tutor out Karaz and pop your own card so you can draw cards off Karaz. And also, if she's in your hand, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap from your graveyard and tribute summon her during either player's turn. So she helps interrupt your opponent's combo plays really, really well, especially the special summoning off Karaz. Then we play triple Erebus. Erebus is either the first or second best card in the deck. He basically allows you to pitch 2 Monarch spell or traps from your deck or hand to the graveyard, and non-target. Just shuffle 1 card your opponent controls in their hand or in their graveyard back into the deck, and it doesn't target, so it's really good. Also, if Erebus is in your graveyard, you can pitch a Monarch spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard and add him or any other Monarch with 2400 attack or more and 1000 defense back to your hand. So he's really good for recyclability as well. 2 Karaz to special summon off of Aether. Again, Karaz is really, really broken when he's special summoned off Aether, because he allows you to continue to plus and get rid of problematic cards your opponent controls. Next, we are playing 1 Megacaius. Megacaius is really good because if you tribute him off a Dark, you can target 2 cards your opponent controls, banish them both, and your opponent takes 1000 damage for each. And if you hit a monster that your opponent controls and it is a Dark monster, you can banish all copies of that monster from your opponent's hand, deck, or graveyard. It's really, really powerful, especially if you hit a Dark extra deck monster. So yeah, 1 Megacaius. Then triple Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend plus March equals GG. Not being able to special summon is going to put your opponent in a really tough bind that they're not going to be able to play around. So triple Vanity's Fiend is kind of a must. Then we're playing triple Edea. Edea is really good because she can tutor out Eidos from the deck when she's normal or special summoned. And also, when she's sent to graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished Monarch spell or traps and add it back to your hand. Typically this will be Pantheism, because it's really good to be able to recycle Pantheism to continue plussing off of it. So Edea is super, super duper good. And then for our target to special off of Edea's effect, we are playing triple Eidos. Eidos is really good. When he's normal or special summoned, you will get an additional tribute summon the turn that he's summoned. And also you can banish him from your graveyard to special summon out from your graveyard a monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense, which will always be Edea. So next turn, after you use his effect, the first time off of Edea, you can banish him from graveyard, special summon back out your Edea, and use her effect to special summon another Eidos from the deck. Also, he's Dark, so he's a good Allure of Darkness target if you already have tribute fodder in your hand, so that's really good as well. Finally, we play 1 Mithra. Mithra is really good. She's a free special summon, and when you special summon her, you can get an additional tribute summon for the turn, so you can tribute summon twice. So it's a really good card. So moving on to spells. We play, of course, the triple Domain. This card is absolutely broken. In a format where Zodiacs are running around like crazy and ABCs are still kind of relevant, having a card that can systematically lock your opponent out of their entire extra deck while you control a tribute summon monster is to die for. Also, it's really good to be able to cut down on levels for your Monarchs so you can more easily summon them to the field. So it's really good to have Domain on board because it's a really good card. Next, we are playing Triple Tenacity. Tenacity is just good because if you have a Monarch card in your hand, you can activate Tenacity, reveal the Monarch with 2800 to 2400 attack and 1000 defense. Basically search out any Monarch spell or trap in the entire deck. Then we're playing one Frost Blast, which is really good to get rid of back row. While you control a monster with 2400 or 2800 attack and 1000 defense, you activate Frost Blast, target a set card on the field, pop it. Then you can banish a Monarch spell or trap from your graveyard and a Frost Blast from your graveyard and pop another card. So it's really good to get rid of back row. One return. I understand that most people want to play at least 2 of this, if not 3, but honestly, I don't like return that much because it keeps bricking. And I want to get to Vanity's Fiend as fast as possible, and return doesn't search Vanity's Fiend. 100% if Vanity's Fiend had 1000 defense and was searchable off return, I'd play this card at 3. But it's not, so it doesn't really help me all that much. Then Double March. A lot of people only play 1 March, but I like it at 2 because if you do get Vanity's Fiend out and double March the Monarchs and Domain, your opponent is going to have to basically Twin Twister 1, if not both of the Marches, and leave your Domain where it is. So it's just added protection. And with Vanity's Fiend on board, no matter what they hit, they're still not going to be able to special summon. So double March the Monarchs is really good. Then we have Triple Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is great in this deck because basically everything is dark. So using Allure of Darkness is not really going to hurt us. I would much rather banish an Erebus or a Mega Caius to get to a Vanity's Fiend than end up without a Vanity's Fiend. So getting Triple Allure is really good because basically you can just dig deeper into your deck and get more resources. Obviously there's a risk, but you have to be smart about how you play the card. But if you're smart about how you play it, you're really going to set yourself up for some really good boards. Double Foolish Burial Goods. This is great to send your Pantheism and Primes to grave. It's a really strong card, and if you open this with Foolish Burial, it's a really good card to start you up and to get your engine going. One Foolish Burial for Edea and your Erebus. Most of the time you will be using that for Edea's effect and not Erebus's, but if you open up without a Monarch, you'll probably end up pitching Erebus off that. So, Foolish Burial. One Rhoda to search out your Warrior, which is Edea. One for one. If you open with this card, it's broken. It's so broken. Because basically you special summon the Edea, then Edea gets the Eidos. So you get 2 normal summons, a normal summon and a tribute summon that turn. It's absolutely broken. So 1 for 1 is a great card to run in this deck. Finally, moving on to traps, we have Double Prime Monarch. I don't play Triple Prime because if you play too many Primes, it can end up bricking, and without Pantheism, it's just kind of a dead card. Double Prime instead of Triple. And it's really great to send this card to grave for Aether and Erebus, but I just don't want to see it in my hand. Then, finally, we play one Solemn Warning, because negating summons is really powerful, and if you open with Warning, it's pretty much GG because your opponent can't do anything. So going first, this card is just too broken, and that's basically it for the main deck. So side deck is basically up to personal preference. I would probably side deck some Kaijus because that's a really good way to get around big boss monsters if your opponent goes first. So there's Kaijus, of course, but depends on what your locals are playing for the side deck, but it's also up to you. So just put whatever you want to in the side deck. So anyway, guys, that is my Monarch deck profile for July of 2017. Anybody that's new into the game, I would recommend getting this deck because it's a very budget deck aside from the Vanity's Fiends, and it's really powerful. You'll have some pretty good matchups in the meta right now. You'll lock out Zoos and ABCs, and anything that really relies on an extra deck, which is basically everything besides True Draco. So this deck is still very powerful, and I do recommend it as a budget option if you were just getting into the game. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about my deck profile in the comments below. I really appreciated bringing you guys this deck profile because I've been meaning to for a long time, but I'm glad I finally was able to give it to you guys. So anyway, that is it for me. This is DMD, and I am out.